Yes, hello viewers. As promised, the 83rd video would be about Microsoft Excel. Now I'm going to be doing this question here. It's just a sample question for advanced level. The old way of answering questions in a practical paper, the old curriculum. Now the old way of answering questions is still on in the senior 5 class currently, and it will also be on in that very class when they head to senior 6. And this is the question I am going to be doing, and it's Excel. Now I'm doing these questions of course the old way. The other question I think is the 81st video. That video was about database. I've just done it. You can go and view what I did there. It's complete. It's really having a lot for your learners in school. Now in this video here, I want to do questions that run from I up to X. So those are the questions I'm going to be doing in the tutorial. I'm just snapping them to just make my work easy on phone. Okay, now the first question is load police salary .xls and save it as payroll 2018 in your folder. Okay, now this is it, and I'm going to load it to my folder. This one is the file I need to use. I'm going to load it in my folder, and then I save it as required. Load police salary .xls. XLS means it is an Excel file, and save it as payroll 2018 in your folder. So of course I won't right click at this. It's the support folder. It's the support file I'm going to use for the video, and it's going to be attached in the description. You can download and try it out as well. So I want to just copy it, and then I take it to my folder. I want to right click and paste. They wanted me to load it, and then after loading it I save it as payroll 2018. So I'm going to right click at it, select rename, then I save it as payroll 2018. Yes, and there you are. I can open it, and then I view the contents inside of it. Okay, next question is required to generate the basic pay using the if statement, assuming that it is paid according to the title. Now they want us to generate the basic pay using the if statement, assuming that someone is paid according to their title. Now for example, if you look at Kagua has a title of SSP, so Kagua is supposed to get 500,000. etc. Azida is ASP, Azida is supposed to get 475,000. So they want us to generate someone's basic pay using the if function. So I'm going to do that. So in this cell F4, letter F, then number 4, that is the cell that is currently active. I'm going to use that cell to generate someone's basic pay. Straight away I'm going to type equals if. So I'm going to use D4 because D4 is having the titles I am basing on to compute the basic pay. I'm going to use D4, and it is the logical test I want. So I'm going to put D4, or you could just click at this. The machine can display a D4. So I'm communicating to the machine, and I'm like, yes, if you go to D4 and find a title this, you give them a salary this, a basic pay this. So of course I'm going to base on this table. I may not open Word because I'm already copying this question from somewhere else, but I'm going to be basing on this table to generate the basic pay of people, or of policemen. Okay, equals if D4, if D4 is equal to, in quotes, SCP, close quotes, Now you're communicating to the machine and you're like, if you go to D4 and you find anything like ASP, what should you do? Equals, give them 600,000. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that is the first statement we are making. I said we are putting a D4 because the D4 is bearing the titles we are basing on to give people the basic pay. So if D4 is equal to ASP, and ASP is in quotes because ASP is text, that's why I'm putting it in quotes. And you mind the quotes. The quotes are just generated by hitting, by rather holding shift and pressing the key near, there's that letter L. You hold shift, you press that key, there's that key near the letter L. It's going to generate the double quotes for the normal keyboard type, QWERTY. Equals if D4 is equal to, in quotes, ASP equals to 600,000. That is one argument. You put a comma, continue to the next argument. It's comma if D4 is equal to, so another title was SP. If D4 is equal to SP, equals, what should we do? We give them a basic pay of 555000, comma, another if D4, which other title was there? I think it was SSP equals SSP in quotes, equals, if someone is SSP they get 500,000. 1, 2, 3, comma, the last argument is the last title. If D4 is equal to, in quotes, you mind the quotes I'm typing, the quotes, there are two symbols that come at once. ASP in quotes, so if someone is ASP in quotes equal to, we give them 475,000. Yes. Then I'm going to close the brackets 4 times because we have written 4 arguments, or we have opened the brackets 4 times, or we have written the if 4 times. So I'm going to close 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hit enter. There's something wrong. Let me first click OK. 475,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me repeat this. It seems there is a mistake here. Equals to, if D4 is equal to ASP, then we give them 475,000. Close 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit enter. There's a problem with the formula. Click OK. Let me show there's a problem here. Comma, if D4 is equal to ASP. Okay, I made ASP. If D4 is equal to ASP, I'm experiencing some difficulties here, and I'm trying to look for the error for the error at my computer. Let me first remove the argument and then I close with 3 brackets. I see. Yeah, so it means I've been having a lot of errors in this if. Now let me just do this. Let me delete from this. Yes. Let me first use this first argument. It's the same. So I'm having some challenges here. If D4 is equal to ASCP, comma, 600,000. Yes, I think it's going to move like this. If D4 is equal to ASP, comma, 600,000. Yes, it's going to move like that. So let me put another argument of if D4 is equal to, in quotes, SP is in quotes, comma, 555, 1, 2, 3, comma, third, if D4, third argument, if D4 is equal to, in quotes, SSP, comma, 500,000, 1, 2, 3. Lastly, if D4 is equal to, in quotes, ASP, comma, 475, 1, 2, 3. Close the brackets 4 times and then hit enter. The machine is going to return the answer. Now this, if I'm making, you should really mind the if that is generated at the basic pay. More so the first argument, the first if argument. You mind that if, because if you don't, the machine could generate some of the errors it was already doing here. So this is the function that has really computed the basic pay based on someone's title. So what someone should mind about is how the if is going to move. For example, that first if, how is it moving? Let me first reduce a bit to 36. Yes, that if D4 is equal to ASP, comma, you give them their amount, something like that. If D4 is equal to ASP, they also receive their amount. So it's the function that is displayed at your screen that can help people earn basic pay using their titles. That is it. Next question. Generate all allowances using the if statement, assuming it is paid according to someone's marital status. That is to say, if someone is married, they get an allowance of 250,000. If someone is divorced, they get an allowance of 150,000. And if someone is single, they get an allowance of 100,000. So equals if. We're going to use the same if to generate someone's allowance. So if now marital is now in E4, it is no longer at D4. D4 was for the titles, and now it is marital, it is E4. If E4 is equal to, in quotes, married. Now the same way married is typed in this column E is the same way you type it in the function. Why? It may not return the actual answer you want, because it's going to compare the logical test with what is in column E, and the two won't match. So that is why you should mind the way you're typing the married, the divorced, and the single text. If E4 is equal to, in quotes, married, comma, so if someone is married, they get 250,000. 1, 2, 3. You go to another if. If E4 is equal to, in quotes, if someone is divorced, you mind the spelling of divorced. If someone is divorced, in quotes, comma, they get 150,000. And then comma, if E4, if E4 is equal to, in quotes, if E4 is equal to single, mind the spelling again, comma, if someone is single, they get 100,000. So you close the brackets 3 times and hit enter. You get the allowance of all people based on their marital status. You see, Kagwa is married, they get this. This one is single, Azida, they get this. This one is divorced, they get this, because I've computed by use of the if. Now in Excel, you don't forget the all borders. You could highlight all your work and give it all borders. That look, that Excel look. So all borders around here. You can even go to this table we've been using for the titles. You also give it all borders. You give that work the Excel look. Okay. Next up is insert a column for gross pay. Yes, they want us to insert a column for gross pay. Insert a column for gross pay and give a formula to compute it. The hint they are giving us is gross pay equals basic plus allowance. We're going to simply add the basic equals this. This is F4 plus this. This is G4. Hit enter, get the answer. Now I'm using plus. F4 plus G4, it is a formula. There's no function name, it is a formula. And it can return the right answer. If you want, you can use a function and it can also return the right answer. Again, it goes back to the question you're trying to attempt. Now in this question, they just want me to compute the gross pay and no one is specifying whether I could use a formula or a function. So I've decided to use a formula and I can get the answer. And some other person can decide to use a function equals sum, open, and they just make a range of the two, hit enter, and then they can get the same answer, whatever way. So I've just preferred using a formula to get this F4 plus G4, hit enter, and then drag downwards to the last person. Insert a column for NSSF given that it is 18% for basic salary of 600,000 and 12% for basic salary of 555,000 and 8% for 500,000 and 4% for 475,000. So that is it. We're going to compute NSSF, but we're going to base on people's basic pay to compute that NSSF. Well, the question is right here. IV. Insert a column for NSSF, that is 18% for basic pay of 600,000, 12% for basic pay of 555,000, and 8% for basic pay of 500,000, and 4% for basic pay of 475,000. Now we're going to do NSSF using the if function that can calculate. There we are. Now the NSSF column is going to be computed based on the other question. It's going to be computed based on the question I've just displayed. So if, open brackets, now I'm trying to compute NSSF using the question I've just read, that if someone gets 600,000 and above, they get NSSF of 18%. For example, if someone gets a basic pay of 600 and above, that is to say there's this person called Jasmine Majid. Majid is suitable for that NSSF, so we should get Najib's 18% NSSF because they could match the first argument straight. Now let me first type the argument 1 before we continue to the rest of the arguments. Equals if basic pay, you see basic pay is in F4. I type F4. You're communicating to the computer that, you know what, if you go to F4 and then you find 600,000 and above, give them NSSF of 18%. And it's what I'm trying to do. But I'm going to just type it as a computer language, that equals if F4 is above or equal to 600. 1, 2, 3. If you go to F4 and you find something above or equal to 600,000, what should you do? Comma, 18% shift 5. 18% times the same F4. Let me first close from that. That is argument 1 of people who are getting above 600,000. And the NSSF they're supposed to get is 18% of that very basic pay. That's why I'm typing equals if F4 is above or equal to equal signs. I'm putting equal to because I also want to consider this person who got the exact 600,000. Because if I don't put the equals, this person with the exact 600,000 may not be considered. So I'm putting the equals for such a reason. If F4 is greater or equal to 600,000, 18% times the F4. Hit enter, and then you try to drag down. We see whether there are some people who are getting NSSF calculated. You see, people like Jasmine are getting NSSF because Jasmine is getting 600,000. Then people like Namanya, actually, sorry, it is Namaya and Jabena. They're getting 600,000 because they're getting NSSF because check, basic pay is 600,000. And then people like Chimba also getting because of their basic pay. Now those people are getting because they have been considered in the first argument I've written. I've not yet considered the rest. I've only considered the people who are getting above 600,000. Now what makes the if function hard or kind of advanced is if you're not able to get the way argument 1 runs, then the rest could not be easy. But if you're able to get the way how argument 1 runs, or the first logical test, how it runs, then the rest could be easy. For example, I'm heading to people who get 555,000. So I just put a comma, then I put if, open brackets, if F4 is above or equal to 555,000, comma, what should we do for them? 12%, the question was 12% of that very F4. So I've considered people 555,000, then put another if the same F4 has values above or equal to, I think the next one is 500,000, 1, 2, 3, comma, get the, is it 8%? Yes, it is 8% times the F4. And the last argument, you could do this with me if you're with me. Yes, if, open brackets, F4. Now the last category is for the people who are 475,000. I can decide to go with a less than sign here, less than 475, actually less or equal to 475,000, comma, what should we do for them? We get a 4% times the F4, and then you close the bracket 4 times because you've opened it 4 times, or you've written 4 ifs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit enter, and people are going to get their NSSF calculated in such a way. Okay, that is now NSSF done by use of the if function that can calculate. Now this is the if function that has been helping me calculate. It's running like this. If this is new to you, I'm putting it in Word so that maybe you can take a screenshot of this, or you could pause the video and see how it runs. Then you could write somewhere. Maybe you're in the school lab, you're at a computer at home, you're viewing this from a phone, you're trying it out. You could pause a bit and then you put this down, you see how it runs. This is the if function that can help one calculate NSSF for this case. Okay, next up is insert a column for net pay. I'm going to insert a column for net pay. And give a formula to compute it. Hint, net pay is equal to gross minus taxes. Yes, this is it. Even in the actual calculations made in payrolls, whenever they calculate net pay, they use gross pay and they deduct the taxes. Equals, our gross pay is in H4 minus the tax is 1, NSSF is the tax. Allowance is not a tax, so we're going to use H4 minus I4. Hit enter, get the answer. But some people can even decide to use a function here. I can put some, and then I subtract H4 minus I4. I close, I hit enter. It's the same answer generated. So that is it, that is the net pay. Next up is sort. Sort the payroll for June using the title. Generate the subtotals for each of the titles using their basic salary. Yes. Now this is it. I'm going to sort the payroll using the title, and I'll generate subtotals afterwards using what I've sorted. Now before I even sort, whenever we are generating subtotals, the work could be divided or it could be dismantled according to what you may not want. Now for example, I'm going to do a subtotal and I'm going to sort. So this could be the original, and I could put the work at some other sheet. Now I could just highlight all this work first, and then I copy it. I take it to sheet 2. Let me paste it to sheet 2. Paste. Yes, and then hit escape. Then at sheet 2, I'm having something here. Actually, I can rename my sheet 2 as original. Double click, I type original. Then sheet 1, I can rename sheet 1 as sort and subtotal. Sort and subtotal. Yes, I'm doing that because I still want to view my original work, and I'll view my sorted work with subtotals. Now the original work is here, and then The other work at sheet 1 is going to have the sort and subtotal. Okay, now back to this sheet 1 with the sort and subtotal. Now, whenever we are sorting, we mind about the type of sorting we're using. If normally someone is sorting like this, if someone sorts like this by highlighting maybe the titles and sorting them this way, A to Z, it could sort them, but the data could not be matching. See what the computer does. Then continue the current selection. Sort. You see George. George is SSP. But you know what? If I sort, you see George is going to get some other title, which is SCP. They could even get the money that is not theirs. Now that is not a right way of sorting. You're going to generate errors in people's payrolls. So to sort properly, you mind the type of sorting you use. Now in the question here, the question I'm trying to do, the one of sorting, this one here, sort the payroll for June using title and then generate subtotals for each title you've sorted in line with basic pay. So if I'm sorting, I'm going to mind the type of sorting I'm using. For example, George. George is SSP, and again George should be SSP. After my sorting, I will do. So I'm going to highlight. Sorry. I'm not highlight from number. I'm not highlighting from the two labels because the two labels I don't want to consider them. I don't want to sort them. So I'm going to highlight from number and then downwards to net pay. After highlighting, I'm going to look for sort. Sort is under sort and filter. It's within the home tab. Then I click at custom sort. When I click at custom sort, here there's add a level, sort by. I want sort by what? Sort by titles. Sort the values. It is okay. This is okay. I hit okay. But before I hit okay, mind that Kagwa George is SSP. Kagwa George is SSP. And after my sorting, Kagwa George should remain SSP. Even the rest of the people should have their work sorted with their titles unchanged. Click OK, and you see Kagwa George is still SSP, but they're just sorted in the way you want. You see SCPs are here, they are here, then ASPs are here, they run up to here, SPs are here, and SSPs are the last category. So that is the sorting that is right, that can be done. And for subtotals, we're going to just get the basic pay of these different titles. Of course, we add their basic pays and then we store them in some attractive way or in some way easily identified. So if I want to go to subtotals, I'm going to highlight the same way I highlighted for subtotals. I'm going to highlight. After highlighting, I go to data, then I look for subtotal. Subtotal is right here. I click at subtotal, then I fill in appropriate information in this box. Yes, I want to change at each change at, I want to change at titles. I'm using titles to generate subtotals, and add subtotal 2. I'm going to use basic pay. I'm going to use a title and a basic pay. Why? Even in the question here, they wanted me to generate subtotals at each titles and using basic salary. That is why I'm also selecting a title and I'm ticking basic pay. Then I'll tick this page break between groups. I'm going to click OK, and people are going to have their basic pays added according to their titles. You see what is happening here? These ones are for SCPs and their basic pays got here. These ones are ASPs and their basic pays got here, etc. Well, I could just highlight these and then I give them some appropriate color. Highlights, hold control, highlight, still holding control, highlights. Let me first release control to scroll, hold control again, highlights. Then under home, I can give them this color to identify them, or I could give them a bigger size. That is it with the subtotal. Okay, and next up is apply a thick border with grid lines. apply a thick border with grid lines. You see, I was putting the original here because I still wanted my original. You see, the work is now changing to this. You could still want your original. That's why I first pasted the original on some other sheet, and then I could also have this changed. But remember, I'll put the original somewhere. Yes. Then apply a thick border with grid lines inside. A thick border. So if I want to put a border, I'm going to highlight all my work downwards. I'm having this. This means the space is not enough. Yes, highlight downwards. Some kind of challenges with the mouse. Highlight downwards to the last category here. Then I'm going to look for borders under the home tab. Borders are here. And then thick border outside. Thick border, I had already put the grid lines inside. I will just have to select a thick border outside, and that is it. That is needed, is a thick border outside my work. Fill the title and the subtitle with a green and yellow background respectively. They want me to fill the title and the subtitle. Now the title is here. The title and the subtitle is here with a green and yellow background respectively. This one should have green, this one yellow, and it's just a fill color. Fill. Click at Uganda Police as the title, then give it a yellow color, a green rather. It should have a green, and green is here. Then click at this. This one should have a yellow. The fill color is here. Yes, that is it. A fill is not a font. A fill is different from a font. Okay, this one is a font, this one is a fill. The red is a font. Font is applied to text, and the fill is applied to the cell, not to the text. Okay, one of the last questions is using the COUNTIF function, show how many employees are earning a gross pay above 700,000 in cell F24. F24 is around here, but it's covered anyway. I can do it from somewhere slightly here. I can do it from here. Well, I can put a heading. They want me to use a COUNTIF function to show employees who earn a gross pay of above 700,000. Let me first look for them. Let me see where they are there. 700,000. They are here. The 4, then this one. There are many actually. They are over 6. They get a gross pay of 700,000 and above. Anyway, I can use this because this is in line with the column. So I can put policemen above 700,000. 1, 2, 3. Yes, policemen above 700,000. Yes, I could just give this maybe a bold color and some yellow color. Policemen above that 700,000. So I'm going to use a COUNTIF to do that. A COUNTIF is a function that is able to count the cells matching what you want. Right now, I want to count policemen who are above 700,000. Straight away, I'm going to type equals count if. It is just one word. Equals count if. Equals count if, open brackets. The machine is putting some communication like range. What range do you want to count from? I want to count from the range of H4 because H4 is holding my first gross pay on the top. H4 to H26 because H26 is holding my last gross pay. And I'm counting the gross pays. So I'm going to type H4 to H26. Correct. That is the range of gross pay. But again, what do you want to count? Comma. After putting the comma, there is criteria as the next part of the function. Criteria is what are you counting? Yes, that is your range, H4 to H26, and it is the gross pay range. But again, what are you trying to count? I'm counting people who are above 700,000. So I'm going to put the quotes I've been using in the if, the quotes, then I put above. Now, according to the question, it was just above 700,000. Yes, it is not above or equal to, it is just above 700,000. 1, 2, 3, that is it. Close the quotes, close the bracket, hit enter, and the machine says that, yo, there are 9 people who get above 700,000 as gross pay. Let me confirm whether there are 9. This one is 1. Now this one is not among them because this one is the exact amount. And I used above 700,000. This one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I count 700,000? Let me repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, I had not counted these two, but again these two are above 700,000. That is it. Those are the people who are above 700,000. They are just 9 people. Okay. And then the last one is save changes, and using the auto filter, save changes, you save by using this. Save changes or Ctrl S. Save changes and use auto filter to extract all records with titles ASP for the month of June. Save it as duplicated ASP. They want me to filter people with the title ASP. So if I want to filter, of course you're going to use another sheet to filter your work. So if I want to filter ASPs, remember I had already done subtotals, and it seems my filtering is going to be so easy. So if I want to filter by use of subtotals, I could just highlight SCPs, I could just highlight them. Actually, I could even need this title. I could just highlight all these because they are ACPs. So I could just highlight them, then Ctrl C, copy, go to sheet 3, right click and paste. So it means the sheet 3 is going to have ACPs pasted, and it's what I wanted. Rename the sheet as duplicated ACP. Duplicated ACP. That is it. Yes. And the other normal way of filtering, you can even filter using this original sheet. If you want to filter, you could just copy all this work. I could just highlight all the work, Ctrl A, and then Ctrl C. I can take it to another sheet, maybe some other sheet, and then I first paste. If my work is pasted on this sheet, it means that I could just straight away bump into home. Then this, I look for filter. Then I go to the Ctrl Z. I could first highlight from this. Yes. Then I look for the filter. I'm just excluding the titles. I need from the labels, number, then to net pay downwards. Look for filter, and then I click at this at titles. I'm filtering SCPs. Then I click at select all, and I only tick SCP. Click OK, and I'm going to receive only SCPs filtered at the sheet I want. That is some other way of filtering. Now, yes, that is it all for the question of Excel. It runs up to the filtering of SCPs right from the part I. If you need the support file, it's going to be in the description. You need guidance, you can inbox, etc. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for viewing, thanks for whatever you're doing for the channel. A nice day.